Welcome. I am Interim Vice President of Student Affairs, Diane Brittingham. Welcome to graduation. We're excited to have you here. Please stand for the presentation of the colors. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and please be seated.
Will the audience please stand? President Tanberg, Platform Party, and Board of Trustees. associate degree candidates. Art and theater. Biology and geosciences. Business. Chemistry, computer science, and mathematics. English, communication, and media. History, anthropology, philosophy, political science, and Spanish. Interdisciplinary studies. Kinesiology. Music. Psychology. Sociology. Teacher education. Master's degree candidates. Adams State Administration. You may be seated. Adams State Associated Students and Faculty Representative Jose Villagomez.
Good morning. My name is Jose Villagomez, representing ASNF, Adams State Student Government. To begin the ceremony, I will read the land acknowledgement statement in both English and Spanish. We, the Adams State University community, gratefully acknowledge the indigenous peoples on whose ancestral lands we gather. This beautiful San Luis Valley is sacred to many indigenous nations, including the Utes, Jicarilla Apaches, Comanches, Kiowas, Arapaho, Cheyenne, Navajo Nation, Pueblos, and all other First Peoples who once made this valley their home. We honor the diverse communities that historically dwelled here and those who currently reside in the San Luis Valley. We know that honoring these lands is a reflective process that demands continued engagement and action. May we always remember the journey of the past peoples who called this valley home. Nosotros, la comunidad de Adams State University, reconocemos con gratitud a los pueblos indígenas en cuyas tierras ancestrales nos juntamos. Este hermoso valle de San Luis es sagrado para diversas naciones indígenas, incluidos los Utahs, pueblos Apaches Jicarilla, Comanches, Kiowas, Arapaho, Cheyennes, Navajo y todos los otros pueblos originarios que creaban un hogar en este valle. Honramos a la diversidad de comunidades que históricamente moraban aquí y a aquellos que hoy en día viven en el Valle de San Luis. Sabemos que honrar a las tierras es un proceso reflexivo que demanda un continuo compromiso y acción. O sea que recordamos siempre el viaje a los antepasados que llamaban a este valle hogar.
Please enjoy this special performance, Flight, by Craig Carnelia, performed by Carlos Gonzalez, tenor, and Dr. William Lipke, piano.
Let me run through a field in the night. Let me lift from the ground till my soul is in flight. Let me sway like a shade of a tree. Let me swirl like a cloud in a storm on the sea. Lead me on my way through the dawning day. I wanna grow, wanna rise, wanna rise, wanna grow on the side of a hill. I don't care if the train runs late, if the checks don't clear, if the house blows down. I'll be off where the weeds run wild, where the seeds fall far from this earthbound town. And I'll start to soar. Watch me rain till I pour out. Catch a ship that'll sail me astray. Get caught in a wind, I'll just have to obey till I'm flying away. My mind won't awake without wondering why, finding myself in a burst for the sky. I'll just roll of a sinner shell. I don't know, but maybe I'm just a fool. I should keep to the ground, I should stay where I'm at. Maybe everyone struggles like this, all think like that. All I know is somewhere through a clearing, there's a flickering of sunlight on a river long and wide. And I have such a river inside. Let me run through a field in the night. Let me live from the ground till my soul is in flight. Let me sway like a shade of a tree. Let me swirl like a cloud in a storm on the sea. Wish me on my way through the dawning day. I wanna flow, wanna rise, wanna spill, wanna grow on the side of a hill. Wanna shift like a wave rolling on, wanna drift from the path I've been traveling upon before I am gone.
Adams State University President David Tanberg.
Grizzlies, I salute your dedication to your academic goals. A few years ago, you set your mind to earning a college degree, and you accomplished that task. Let that sink in for a moment. Today, you're graduating with a college degree. Congratulations. On behalf of the faculty and staff of Adams State University, I welcome you to the Fall 2022 Commencement Ceremony. Established as a teacher's college in 1921, this institution has grown from one building in the middle of sand and brush to the beautiful campus we're on today. Our students continue to receive a quality education and graduate today with the potential to fulfill their own professional dreams, but more importantly, to also give back to their families who supported them these last few years and to their communities, which will reap the benefits of a well-educated society. Thank you all for being here today to support these graduates. To those watching us from a distance, we welcome you as well and know that you're here in spirit and in thought. At this time, I would like to recognize the following individuals who have joined us today. Most importantly, my wife, First Lady Darren McGinnis Tanberg, and Adams State Foundation board member and alumna Cheryl Schroeder. As we begin this momentous occasion, I would like your fellow graduate, Carlos Gonzalez, to please approach the podium. As part of the Adams State Centennial Celebration, the alma mater was recomposed by music professor Matthew Schilt, assisted by William Lipke. Today, for the last time, we will listen to the original version performed by Carlos Gonzalez, tenor, accompanied by Dr. Lipke.
We sing our praise to thee, our voices raise. us heed thy call to praise thy name to all. From the crested peaks and the Rio Grande, thy fame shall spread o'er all the land. O Adam's seed, faithful will be. O Adam's seed, we pledge our all to thee. To Adam's seed we sing our loyalty.
At this institution, support comes from all who connect with our students, including professors, coaches, and staff from across campus. Less visible, but just as dedicated, is the Board of Trustees of Adams State. They volunteer their time and their expertise to provide guidance to the entire institution. At this time, I would like to introduce Michelle Leek, Chair of the Adams State Board of Trustees.
Good morning, Adams State. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I welcome all of you, students, faculty, family, and friends, to this fall commencement exercise of 2022. It's terrific that you have joined us here in Plackey Hall, and I also welcome those who are joining us remotely. You see the camera right over here, so graduates, first thing you need to do, wave to the camera so you can say hello to the people who are, thank you very much. For close observers of Adams State commencement exercises, you'll notice that I'm kind of a regular here. I've been attending these events for nearly 7 years, and that's the time that I've been on the board. And most of those times I've offered the welcome on behalf of the board. Each time it's an honor to do so, and today is no different. For even closer observers of commencement exercises, I tend to offer a short riff on the importance of higher education, especially the critical thinking skills that you have developed and honed over the course of your run here at Adams. Our future, economically, socially, culturally, environmentally, civically, depend not only on the development of those critical thinking skills, but on their real-world application, which ostensibly begins this very hour. I also tend to offer a quote from a current newsmaker, writer, or cultural figure, some pithy advice or words of encouragement, and today I'm going to do exactly that. But I won't look any further than this institution for that sage advice, because just a few months ago, on this very stage, I listened to one of the best convocation speeches I've ever heard. And that speech came from our very own Dr. Billy Ulibarri. Where is old Dr. Ulibarri? Good morning. So, most of you know Dr. Ulibarri. He's associate professor here in the sociology department. And when I sent him a thank you note for his commencement speech, I always said that I would properly reference him. So I am referencing you right now, Dr. Ulibarri. Dr. Ulibarri addressed your fellow Grizzlies when they were at the very beginning of their Adams journey. But his advice, again, the best I've heard in a very long time, applies as much to you today as you commence your journey away from Adams State as for those naive freshmen who sat in these seats a few months ago as they were commencing their journey here at Adams. I won't do justice to your remarkable speech, Dr. Ulibarri, But I highly recommend that you find him after this program and get a copy of it. But his advice boiled down to the following. To be successful in any community, you've got to show up. Since Dr. Ulibarri is a professor and an academic and a master critical thinker himself, he didn't stop there. As a clear-thinking sociologist, he offered a clear definition of what showing up is and what it's not. Your presence, like your presence here today, is essential but insufficient. Your presence, your showing up, must be accompanied by attention, aspiration, and action. As you leave here today, your primary challenge is to find your next community or series of communities. This is the task of young adulthood. Adulting, as my grown children say, is often a tough challenge. Part of that challenge is finding your next community. You will build them professionally, socially, perhaps religiously, and geographically. And to build those successfully, I suggest heeding the advice of your teacher. Show up with attention, aspiration, and action. I would also add, as a final point, that you have already built a community, that of Adams. The fact that you are here today is a testament to your success within this very community. You have shown up, you have focused your attention, you have shared your aspirations, and you have acted. You'll do this time and time again. Plus, you are grounded in this very community. Once a Grizz, always a Grizz. Rely on us as you embark. I end by welcoming all of you. And finally, congratulations, class of 2022. Welcome to the community of your fellow alumni. Now get out there and show up.
Thank you so much, Trustee Leek. We appreciate your commitment to the future of Adams State University. Graduates, your classmate, Jasmina Martinez, has much to celebrate today. I think we all know who she is. She's someone who shows up everywhere all the time, and we appreciate it. She's been an active member throughout her college career of the Adams State community. A first-generation college graduate from Albuquerque, New Mexico, Jasmina arrived on campus her freshman year and began taking advantage of every opportunity that presented itself to her. She was active in student support services, a member of the Christian Challenge, a student ambassador, activity coordinator for classes, new student orientation leader, and was one of the featured students in the Amazon Prime streaming show, The College Tour. Look it up. It's a really cool video on Adams State. Jasmina's positive energy and optimism encouraged many prospective students to enroll at Adams State and many others to stay enrolled. She is grateful for faculty who guided and supported her, academics, and all her lifelong friends she has made as a student. Graduates, guests, members of the Adams State community, please welcome the class of 2022 student commencement speaker, Jasmina Martinez.
That's crazy. You probably gave a really good convocation speech because I'm also talking about that. Where are you, Doctor? Can't find you. There you are, yeah. That's so good. Showing up, that's what we're gonna be talking about again, so I hope that you get used to hearing it because we're gonna talk about that. Thank you. This is also, I didn't tell any of my family. Surprise, yeah, here I am. And thank you, Dr. Hanberg, for that incredible introduction. I'm incredibly honored to speak before you and everyone in this room. Again, my name is Jasmina Martinez, and Graduates, in case nobody told you, you are joining the 38% of Americans to have a bachelor's degree and only 13% to have a master's. I see y'all back there. Way to go. You are entering a realm where you have a different influence. You have a unique understanding of your disciplines: business, education, nursing, the arts, and more. Those long days of going to practice, class, work have paid off. And I hope today that you are celebrating this major accomplishment that you have brought to fruition. And while getting to this point is exhilarating, the truth is that we hold college graduates to a higher standard. A new responsibility is being set on your shoulders. You have earned this credibility, and now that you are entering this privileged class, I ask, how will you use your influence? Ruth Bader Ginsburg, longtime Supreme Court Justice, once said, "Whatever you choose to do, leave tracks." That means don't do it just for yourself. You will want to leave the world a little better for your having lived. Taking her seat in 1993 as the second woman ever to serve on the US Supreme Court, she was a pioneer for women's rights and gender equality. And coming from a low-income working-class home in New York, she was also a first-generation college graduate from Cornell University and Columbia Law. She experienced firsthand the challenges of being a woman in law and used that in her passion for civil rights. Justice Ginsburg died on September 18, 2020, but we remember her as being a champion for justice. So how can we follow in her footsteps? And of the many convocations I sat through as a new student orientation leader, I held on to Dr. Yu's words this fall to show up. And although he wanted students to stand out in their classes and around campus, I think about how we can take that with us in a multitude of settings. Show up. Two simple words. Show up in your careers, in your communities, at your entry-level job, or wherever you go. Make a difference. Be a force of positivity and be a leader. Use the knowledge and experience you've gained from our incredible faculty members and mentors. We should be aiming high and missing rather than aiming low and hitting without making a true difference. So how will you contribute to change? And if you're nervous thinking about where you're going after this, consider where you've been. And as I reflect on my time at Adams State, I think of the people and the experiences that have gotten me this far. Growing up, my mom worked hard raising two girls while being so young herself, and my older sister and I spent most of our weekends with our grandparents. And at a certain point, we just moved in with our grandma Carmen. Hey, girl. And at the beginning of this transition, we shared a room with her, and I had my cozy spot on the floor where the bed couldn't fit three. My grandma was a housekeeper at the time, and when she would get off work, we'd wait at the bus stop in front of the corner store and walk home, just sharing the details of our day. And over the years, as we were able to adjust, I was so fortunate to be in every sport and after-school program when so many of my peers had to grow up quickly just to support their families. I had this small view of the world and what it had to offer. So when I left Albuquerque to come here, I, just like everyone else, was scared. And many times, especially as a first-generation college student, I felt I wasn't smart enough or good enough. I struggled to adjust, and when I finally found my place, my grandma Isabel passed in my second year. And in that moment I thought, how selfish is it me to be here, away from home, away from family, when getting a college degree won't make a difference? What is it worth? She was one of the strongest women I knew. My 4'11", 110-pound grandmother would lose her battle to cancer. Then the pandemic hits, and I started failing my classes, and I fell behind on my degree track. And then my grandma Carmen, who sacrificed so much of her time to make sure I was at every practice, school event, game, undergo surgery for a tumor, and I think again, I cannot lose another one. How selfish is it of me to be here? So when I think about how I want to use this degree, I think about how I almost gave up. And that might resonate with some of you. You may have experienced some sort of hardship or loss on your journey here. And that has the power to bring us to a breaking point, and it fills us with doubt. How can I change the world? What does someone like me from a poor neighborhood and a broken home in Albuquerque know about making a change? There's nothing that I can do to make a difference. And the list goes on, and I'm sure you could fill in the blanks or substitute your own doubts. That mindset comes from a place of fear and trepidation as we enter the unknown. And while you combat that, do not forget where you have been and how that has impacted you. Because whether we want to believe it or not, we are finding ourselves in a privileged position. It is up to you to foster these skills that you have gained and wield them in a way that can strengthen the institutions around you. So now that you have this newfound privilege, how do you use it? My suggestion is to first show up. Wherever you go, trust in your abilities, especially in the lowest moments, because that is where you'll see the potential for growth. And if you begin finding yourself stuck, just go with your gut. I recently received some pretty sound advice to take risks, shoot your shot, and be fearless. Because with that, you should have no regrets, because what you do in that moment is exactly what you needed to do. So what will you do with this new foundation? Because you have been through the struggle and you know what it's like. Will you contribute to change, or will you sit stagnantly? We all experience the world through our own lens, but we could all share this notion that we want to see a bright future. Whatever you choose to do, don't do it just for yourself. And as you continue to thrive in the near future, make sure to lift up those behind you and encourage them. Don't forget that you were once in a position that had little advantage, and be the kind of leader that you once needed. And if you're still feeling unsure about how to change the whole world, start by simply impacting those around you. Did the people in your life and that impacted you know they were influencing a future social worker, nurse, teacher? Even Mother Teresa herself said, "I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples." Be conscious of your position in the world, because you may not know what simple actions can encourage others. So I congratulate you again for being a part of the 4 out of 10 Americans who have a post-secondary education degree. With that, let us be a part of the change using our voices, our credibility, and our new position in this privileged class. Thank you to Adams State for providing us with the tools to be successful. And thank you to Alamosa for allowing us to live in an environment where we saw the world differently than where we came from and where we began. Finally, I'd like to thank my incredible professors, Dr. Hilwig, Dr. Schneider, Dr. Hildebrand, and all the other professors that I have. You guys are great, but sociology. I'd like to thank you for your continuous support and going above and beyond outside of the classroom just to make sure that we were successful. I could not have done it or be here without you. So graduates, it is time to show up and contribute to change, because you have the ability and the knowledge to do so. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jasmina. Your insights into the significance of overcoming challenges while remaining committed to your education and making the world a better place are inspiring. I know I can relate, and I'm sure so many of your classmates can as well. And I agree. Show up and contribute is such an excellent philosophy for moving forward with your college degrees in hand. I'm now pleased to introduce a former classmate of mine, the Honorable Sam Evig, as our commencement speaker. As a friend, I've known Sam for over 2 decades, and I'm still impressed with his humble attitude and drive to improve his community. It may not seem possible that most of you waiting to cross the stage have much in common with the man who was appointed by Colorado governor as the 4th judicial district judge, but his great story started much the same as many of yours. Graduating from a small high school in Del Norte, Sam enrolled in Adams State as a student athlete. He was provided the opportunity to create the mock trial team, an experience that opened his eyes to the possibilities of law school. He soaked up the close contact with coaches, faculty, and staff, and appreciated local judges who helped him with the mock trial team. He can still be a bit reserved and even shy at times, and remembers how his professors helped draw him out and give him the confidence to speak. It was their encouragement and involvement that mattered to Sam. That confidence served him well as he continued with his postgraduate education, joined law firms, and now sits as a judge in El Paso County. I'll now shine the spotlight on his wife, Crystal, for a moment. Dr. Crystal Willis Evig graduated from Adams State a year after her husband, Sam. They're actually high school sweethearts. Crystal is now an OB/GYN for a busy practice in Colorado Springs. She remembers traveling with Adams State biology professor Dr. Harrington to Stockholm, Sweden for a pancreatic conference her senior year at Adams State. A medical doctor and a district judge. You could say the Evigs are truly a power couple, and both believe the wonderful education from Adams State provided a strong basis for their success. I'm confident Sam's words will inspire you to continue your great story and pursue your professional and personal goals with confidence into the future. Members of the faculty, staff, students, graduates, community, please join me in welcoming the Honorable Samuel A. Evig.
Never make these things quite tall enough. Thank you for the introduction, President Tanberg. I have to say you make me sound a lot more impressive than I really am. But it's a tremendous honor to be here in front of all of you today. Although it's a time-honored tradition to have a graduation speaker, today should really be all about all of you. And I think all of you have something better to do today than listen to me for a long time. So the one promise I make is that I will try and speak quickly, and this will be over soon. It is surreal to stand in front of you today. I remember sitting exactly where you were sitting in this same gym, wearing the same robes and wearing those same funny-looking hats. When I got the call from President Tanberg to speak, I said, "You have to be able to find someone better, David." And he thought about it a moment and, being honest to a fault, said, "Well, you'd think so, but you're it this time." And so with that sort of ringing vote of confidence and the invitation to make a trip to Alamosa in December, how could I say no? I do want to talk about two different topics today. The first thing I want to talk about is that you may not understand the value of what you've earned today. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to really learn about that. And the second thing I want to talk about is that we live in perhaps the greatest time in history. But our world is a difficult one, and many of us feel miserable about it all of the time. I think these ideas relate to each other a little bit. They both recognize as a foundation that we either cannot or do not realize things that we're too close to. So the value of what you've done. You are graduating from college today, and speaking as someone who sat in those same chairs longer ago than I would care to remember, the value of what you've done may not become apparent until much later. Why do I say that? Well, many of you know the cost that you have paid. You have student loan balances that you might know to the penny that gives you a very accurate financial cost for what you have done. And Ms. Martinez spoke very eloquently about other costs you've paid. When you come to college, you are giving up the ability to earn income. You are forgoing that ability for something greater. You are taking time away from your family, from the place that you've lived. That's a cost you have paid. But that doesn't really tell you the value of what you've earned. And I do want to talk a little bit about how I learned some about the value of what I had earned here. You see, I went to law school, as President Tanberg said, and I started about 8 months after I graduated here. There's a couple of things you need to know about law school for this to make any sense at all. First, law school is competitive. Most lawyers tend to do well academically, and they care about doing well academically. Second, my class incoming at the University of Iowa was about 230 students. Most of my classes there had 90 to 150 people in them. That was not something I was used to coming from Adams State. Third thing you need to know is that everyone takes the same classes the first year of law school, and they are all graded on a curve. And that means 10% of the class can get an A. The last thing you need to know is that I chose the school I did because of the financial aid package they gave me. I got a scholarship, but to keep that scholarship, I had to stay in the top 25% of my class. So I go to law school, and I start meeting my fellow classmates, and I'm intimidated. In my small section, I had 2 graduates from Harvard. One of those I became extremely close to, and I'm still close to her. She was Taiwanese by birth, had lived in Canada and New Jersey. She spoke English, Mandarin, and French. And when I say she spoke English, she both spoke and wrote English better than I could, even though she was not a native speaker. The second Harvard graduate had majored in theoretical physics at Harvard before he decided there wasn't enough money in it and switched to political theory. His thesis advisor there was a guy named Michael Walzer. The only reason I knew anything about Michael Walzer is because during my final year at Adams State, I had taken a class on war, and the foundational text in that class was a book called Just and Unjust Wars, written by Michael Walzer. Some of my classmates graduated from MIT. They graduated from Big Ten schools, from Yale, from other Ivy League institutions. One of my friends was a Fulbright scholar. One of my close friends had too much to drink one night and admitted he missed one question on the law school admissions test. He teaches courses on that now, and he's got a perfect score 6 times. And then there's me. There's Sam Evig from Del Norte, from Adams State. I didn't belong. And it took a while. It really took a while. But as things progressed, I started to realize the value of what I'd earned. And I started realizing that because in law school, professors teach using a quasi-Socratic method. They wander up and down the rows, and they ask questions, and they call on people. And then you have to speak in front of 150 people that you do not know. And you have to speak and try and say something not too foolish, not too wrong. And there are no right answers because the professor is illustrating points, illustrating a thought process, illustrating things that you need to think about. And my classmates couldn't handle it. They had never done that before. They had never been in an arena where a professor focused on them. At the undergraduate institutions they'd attended, they didn't have professors like we have. They didn't have professors who involved you, who made you speak, who drew you out. They didn't have that, and it showed. And they skipped class. They didn't want to come to class. They were terrified. It's interesting to see someone who wants to be a lawyer just break down in front of their classmates because it's too much. But Adams State made me ready for that. Adams State gave that to me. And Adams State has given that to you as well, even though you might not realize it. That's not to say that there weren't some situations that I was not as well prepared for. My limited experience with wine at Adams State had involved wine out of boxes, not out of bottles. And in my first interview dinner, the partners who were doing the interview set it up so that the server poured my wine first, the server handed me the cork. I didn't know what to do with it. I stuck it in my pocket. And as a lesson, don't do that. If that ever happens to you, if you find yourself in that situation, you're supposed to smell the cork, make sure it's not rotted. You're then supposed to swirl the wine around, take a small sip, make sure it doesn't taste like vinegar, as long as it doesn't say it's fine. My Harvard friends knew that, and I explained that to them later, and they had a good laugh. I didn't get that particular job, I will tell you. But in other ways, socially, Adams State prepared me better. You see, a lot of the people I went to law school with had only been around people like themselves, high achievers, people from wealthy backgrounds, people who had attended expensive private colleges. But I went to Adams State, and I think about the basketball team I was on here. and I didn't play much, but I was on the team. We had players from seven or so different states, from places like Alta, Utah, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Taos, New Mexico, Santa Fe, places like Phoenix, Arizona, DeSoto, Texas. And all of us got brought together, and we all learned about each other. Adams State does that for people. You know, there are a lot of institutions that preach diversity and pay lip service to it, but Adams State lives it. And although you may not know it, that is incredibly important as you go forward, and that will make a difference in your life going forward. I will tell you the only real difference between you and graduates who have gone to bigger schools is that their student loan balances are going to be a little bit higher than yours on average. So, the second topic I want to talk about. We live in the greatest period in history, but no one sees it that way. I read a lot, and in 2003, a man named Greg Easterbrook wrote a book. Mr. Easterbrook's brother is a guy named Frank Easterbrook, who sits on a federal court of appeals. But the book he wrote is called The Progress Paradox, and he subtitled it, How Life Gets Better While People Feel Worse. So what does a book published in 2003 have to do with right now, to all of you? After all, 2003 predates COVID, it predates TikTok, Twitter, and Tesla. For goodness sake, Facebook, that ancient social media platform that your parents and grandparents probably use, that went live in 2003. But I find myself coming back to that book because the central point was that if you were middle class in America right now, you live better than 99% of human beings who have ever lived. So why are we so unhappy? And he talks about some different things. He talks about choice anxiety. He talks about how we've done better at increasing living standards, but not our sense of satisfaction. He talks about the lack of money can cause unhappiness, but having it is no guarantee of happiness. He talks about how we focus on smaller and smaller problems. He talks about political division. He touches on the idea that keeping up with the Joneses in terms of material wealth, cars, cell phone, and material goods doesn't keep us happy. To steal a phrase from Chuck Palahniuk, the things you used to own, now they own you. But if you think about it, we live in a world where advances happen every day. As President Tanberg noted, my wife is an OBGYN, and women's health is pretty important. Some of the best data we have about maternal mortality rates comes from Finland. And in the 1700s, anywhere between 800 and 1,000 women per 100,000 died in childbirth. In 1900, around 500 in 100,000. And in the year 2020, in the United States, about 20 women per 100,000 died in childbirth. That's still too many, but that's progress. That's actual measurable progress in making people's lives better. Someone diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in 1900 had just received a death sentence. On average, people diagnosed lived 4 to 5 years. That meant a doctor had to look a parent in the eye, and tell them that their child who was just diagnosed with type 1 diabetes would be dead within 5 years. Now, life expectancy is around 60. There's still work to do, but that's actual, measurable progress. We've just lived through a terrible pandemic, but think about what that looks like without the technology we have. Think about what that looks like without the ability to have online classes, what that looks like without the ability to communicate. Think about what that looks like without those things. At no time in our history have we known more about our world. We're understanding the makeup of our universe, the building blocks of matter. We're exploring the solar system. At no time in history have we had the ability to communicate with each other in so many different ways. Cell phones. I can pick up a cell phone and I can communicate with my friend who lives in Taiwan via video calls. I'm talking to someone across oceans. And at no time in history have we been able to access almost the entirety of human knowledge from something like a cell phone. When I went to Adams State, I had to use interlibrary loan. I'm not saying that bad things don't happen, and I'm not saying that there's not work to be done. I preside over domestic relations and criminal docket. I have to tell you, I see the bad things that humans do to each other. I see cruelty, I see violence. I see the effects of racism, sexism. I see the effects of mental illness, of poverty. I see people who have undergone things that you really can't talk about in polite company. And to be honest with you, it affects me sometimes. And I think that's why I keep coming back to this book. I keep coming back to this book because I like to think that we can't forget just how good we have it. We live in a world with wonders. And when you get down, and you will have those days, you'll have days when the world is too much with you. You'll have days when you feel like the sun rose simply to shine light on your failures. On those days when they happen, you've got to stop. Stop and think. Stop and think about the miracles that we see, the lives that we get to lead, the things that we have. We live in a world of unimaginable possibility. And that should make us excited, not scared. When you leave here today, leave excited, not scared. Think of all the things you've overcome, a worldwide pandemic, all of the things that could have taken you away from this place. Yet you are here, you have done this, and this is just the beginning of the wonderful things you will do. So please, celebrate today. I mean, do so safely. Be proud of what you've done. Rejoice because you've passed a step today that many people never reach. Let me be the next to congratulate you. Please go forth and make Adams State proud.
Thank you, Sam. So my story isn't that unlike Sam's. So we both graduated from Adams State, I think maybe a graduation apart. And I went to graduate school at Penn State University. And I can remember our first reception. The faculty were there, the new students, the continuing graduate students working on their PhDs, and there was a buffet laid out. And I'm going through, and remember, I came straight from the Valley to Penn State, and there's a bowl of what I think is guacamole, right? You know, here, if you get a bowl of green dipping sauce, it's guacamole, and I love guacamole, like, who doesn't? So I grab a cracker or a chip, and I load it full, because remember, I love guacamole. I put the whole thing in my mouth. It wasn't guacamole. It was wasabi. Now, you may not know what wasabi is. I didn't know. Think of horseradish. So I took basically a big spoonful of horseradish and shoved it in my mouth. Well, my eyes start running, my nose start running, I'm drooling, right in front of all these people who I've just met, these sophisticated people. I run out of the room into the bathroom, washing my mouth off and just thinking, I don't belong. Well, I want to tell you, and this is no bragging, I was a C student in high school. I came to Adams State, my perspective was changed, and it didn't take long to come to the realization, the same realization that Sam had, that I believe I'm sure Crystal had, that not only do we belong, that we can excel in any environment. I did as well or better than any student from their fancy schools, from their rich families. I want you to know wherever you sit moving forward, you belong and you can excel because you're Adams State graduates. Sam, we're extremely proud of you and all you represent to the class of 2022. And to the class of 2022, we are so proud of you all. We are confident with the foundation and excellence that you've received, you will continue to excel and enhance Adams State's mission in this community and well beyond. I'm now pleased to present the representatives of the faculty of the university whose excellence and dedication have nurtured these students. By the standards of achievement they set for all Adams State graduates, the faculty determine the true quality of this institution. Members of the faculty, please rise and receive our thanks. Thank you. The university staff has fostered the progress of today's graduates in countless ways, providing indispensable support to every office. The professional and classified staffs are vital to the functions of this institution. Will the members of the university staff who are present here today please rise and receive our appreciation? Thank you. The coaches, trainers, and athletic staff at Adams State go to great lengths to support the many student athletes at Adams State. Will all the coaches, trainers, athletic staff at Adams State who are present today please rise and receive our appreciation? Seated among the degree candidates here today are students who have been rewarded for their academic achievements by receiving scholarships. Will all the students who have been the recipients of scholarships please rise? Thank you. Your scholarships have been made possible. You know, you can only talk so long before it starts, you just lose control, and I think we're reaching that moment with me. Bear with me. Your scholarships have been made possible by the generous contributions of Adams State's friends and donors. We thank those individuals, organizations, and corporations who have invested in your education and who continue to support the university. This is personal to me. I was able to pay my way through college by the generous contributions of John McDaniel, a faculty member that many of you know. Many of Adams State's most generous supporters are alumni whose ranks you join today. I'd like to recognize now the many Adams State alumni who have joined us in this very special graduation. Will all Adams State alumni in our audience please stand so we can recognize you personally, your personal participation today? Will all graduates who continue the Adams State legacy, those who had had a family member receive a degree from Adams State, please stand. Thank you. The university has earned a strong reputation for serving non-traditional students exceedingly well. All our candidates this morning, among our candidates this morning, are students who are also parents. Again, this is personal to me. By the time we lived, by the time we left Alamosa, Darren and I had 2 kids. In fact, when Darren went into labor with our second kid, we lived in Faculty Drive, and so we simply walked out the door, across the street, up the elevator, gave birth, and came home. It was simple and easy, right, Darren? Will all the candidates whose academic achievements serve as a model for their own children please stand? All of you with kids, please stand. We congratulate you on the fine example you set for your families. For all of you in the graduating class, this is a very special day. I know this is particularly true for one group among you. Will those who are the first in your family to have graduated college please stand? Let's applaud all of our first-generation students. You were truly pioneers. Thank you for your courage, for blazing that trail for the generations that are going to follow you. A large number of our Adams State students are employed either part or full-time while pursuing their degrees. Will all the graduates who have worked while attending Adams State please rise? Congratulations. Thank you. We recognize the many Adams State students have served or are serving our country in all branches of the armed forces. Will those of you who are military veterans or are on active duty or in the reserves please stand? Thank you for your service. To all family and friends of our graduating class, your support, encouragement, and often sacrifice will always be remembered and appreciated. You made it possible for these students to attain their academic goal. Will all guests and supporters of these graduates please rise and accept our thanks? Thank you. Graduates, from the moment you first stepped on the Adams State campus and entered your first class, you became a special part of the history of this university. Your legacy will continue through your undergraduate research projects, volunteer work in the community, titles won, and memorable performances given. We hope as you enter the next chapter of your life, your great story will continue and you will stay connected with all of us at Adams State. Look for opportunities to be involved in our strong alumni association. Keep us posted on your accomplishments and reach out if you ever need a helping hand. Remember, once a Grizzly, always a Grizzly. We proudly celebrate all of you and all of the Adams State graduates that have come before you. Dr. Buchanan, will you please join me at the podium?
Okay, here we go. Will the Associate of Arts, Associate of Science, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Fine Arts candidates please stand? Mr. President, on behalf of the faculty of Adams State University and pursuant to completion of all requirements for the Associate of Science, Associate of Arts, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Fine Arts degree as prescribed by the faculty of Adams State University, I recommend that the appropriate degree be confirmed.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees for Adams State University, and upon completion of all requirements prescribed, I do confer upon you the degree of Associate of Science, Associate of Arts, Bachelors of Arts, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Fine Arts, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining.
Will Dr. Mari Centeno please come forward, and the associate degree graduates approach the platform.
Rosana Pérez. Rebecca Schmidt. Alana Wood. Marley Ann Crowther. Angelo Ramirez. Alyssa Romero. Christopher Segura. Chance Strand. Zach Thomas. Tyler Valencia. Benaya Vito. Christopher Wilson. Aubrey Bagwell. Jessica Casanova. Corey Curtis. Ixel Duran. Armando Garcia. Victoria Good. Kylie Gregg. Simón Lucas Pedro. Mariana Morales. Joseph Murphy. Logan Andrew Rabasca. Diana Salazar. Maggie Shawcroft. Paul Wilkes. Derek Thaxton Liggins. Jonah Bricker. Calvin Combs. Michael Earhart. Matthew Effenditch. Darius Gallegos and his robot Travis. Aaron Stonebarger. Was I supposed to be reading? Haley Elijah Sky Lemon. Sarah Elizabeth Wadlington. Alfonso Núñez. Aleida Castillo. Shema Ola Aikala Luani. Noah Beefus. Justine Cardwell. Paul Gilio. Brendan Coplin. Carlos Mobley. Joshua Royas. Bianca Alexis Borilli. Carlos González. Benjamin D. Ritchie. Laura Rosenbeck. Hydea Williams. Jaden Gurule. Madison Haggerty. Lacey McCarroll. Jane Pope. Marcos Ramirez. Madison Daly. Nina Sandler. Kylie Wall. Kenneth Ayers. Caroline Garcia Scott. Gail Garcia. Aaliyah Emmel. Yasmina Martinez. Caitlin Porter. Arthur Valdez. Chasey Block. Sabrina Martinez. Thank you.
Will all Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Fine Arts graduates please stand? To signify your new academic status, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Fine Arts graduates may now switch your cap tassels from the right to the left. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a tradition of long standing at Adams State University to give special recognition to those who graduate with honors. To make the recognition more visible, honors graduates are identified in your programs by the asterisk beside the student's name. A student whose grade point average is 3.5 to 3.74 on a 4-point scale throughout 4 years may be graduated cum laude or with honors. A student whose grade point average is 3.75 to 3.89 throughout 4 years may be graduated magna cum laude or with high honors. A student whose grade point average throughout 4 years is 3.9 or above may be graduated summa cum laude or with highest honors. Would those students graduating cum laude please stand? Would those students graduating magna cum laude please stand? And would those students graduating summa cum laude please stand? Thank you. Will the master degree candidates please stand? Mr. President, on behalf of the faculty of Adams State University and pursuant to completion of all requirements for the master's degree as prescribed by the faculty and the Graduate Council of Adams State University, I recommend that the degrees of Master of Arts, Master of Science, and Master of Business Administration be conferred.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Adams State University, and upon completion of all requirements prescribed, I do confer upon you the degree of Master of Arts, Master of Science, Master of Business Administration, with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Will the master candidates approach the platform and the associated faculty?
Here, wait. No. Wait. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Master of Arts in Counseling, Joanna Martinez. Master of Arts in Public Administration. Mauro Villaseñor. Master of Business Administration. Valerie Valdez. Diane Arias. Vanessa Núñez. Alfredo Villa.
Let's go, Alfredo!
Master of Science and Kinesiology. Brenda Gonzalez. Alexis Miller.
Let's go!
Congratulations.
Rhiannon Baskin.
Graduates, as of today, you all officially belong to the Adams State University Alumni Association. The president of the Alumni Association, Sandy Ortega, accompanied by Director of Alumni Relations and Engagement, Ashley Maestas, is here to give you a warm welcome.
We're the shorter of the bunch here. Thank you, President Tanberg, faculty, staff, family, friends, Board of Trustee members, and most importantly, the 2022 graduating class. On behalf of the Adams State Alumni Association, congratulations on your graduation. It is with great pleasure that we welcome each of you to our Alumni Association.
It is our honor to stand before you today as you all showed up. You are the future leaders of tomorrow. We hope that as you leave Adams State today, you take away with you many loving memories of time spent here. Adams has been your home for these past few years, as well as a place you chose to achieve your academic goals. Not only is Adams State an exceptional school, but it is a place where the faculty members know you by name and you make lifelong connections in your new community.
As you maneuver your way through life's twists and turns, you'll be faced with challenges, choices, sorrows, and joys. But no matter where life takes you, whether you are a teacher, professor, nurse, social worker, public official, there will always be one constant. You will always be part of this Alumni Association.
One of our Alumni Association's main goal is to help you stay connected with your fellow graduates, as well as with others who have walked across this stage since 1926. All Adams State alumni, please stand.
One more time, everybody, please stand, all alumni. On behalf of the Adams State Alumni Association, congratulations, class of 2022. We hope to see many of you at our future alumni events. Jasmina, Haley, Diane, I see you all.
And don't forget, do not forget to show up wherever you go. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy and Ashley. I know you have many great opportunities available to our newest class. All right, guests, families, will you please join me one more time in showing our 2022 alumni class standing before us and show another great show of admiration. Don't do it. I can see you guys don't want to lose your caps, huh? Throw your... All right, bear with me. One more thing I have to do. This is my first... So, all right, class. Oh my gosh. I just did a video. I'll take a screenshot. Okay, you can all sit down. Thanks for bearing with me. I would like to thank the Adams State student ambassadors who remained on campus an extra day and contributed to the success of this ceremony. Thank you all. Autumn Yoakum, music major, will now sing the recomposed Alma Mater, accompanied by Dr. William Lipke. Please stand.
O Adams State, we sing our praise to thee. Our voices raise in fervent loyalty. Thy sons and daughters heed thy call to praise thy name to all. From the crested peaks and the Rio Grande, thy fame shall spread o'er all the land. O Adams State, faithful will be. O Adams State, we pledge our all to thee. To Adams State we sing our loyalty.
Brink, will you approach the podium?
For one last time, would you please be seated? We request members of the audience to please remain seated until all graduates have filed out. Thank you. Will the ushers and banner carriers please take their positions?
Thank you.